It's fair to say that 2022 was a busy year for the Star Wars franchise, and a successful one at that. We might have just passed Christmas, but in recent times it feels like after a lengthy period of neglect, we've now stumbled upon a rich uncle that's making up for lost time by showering us with gifts. Last year we had 3 live-action deliveries stuffed into our stocking. Tales of the Jedi was an animated highlight, and the High Republic continued its epic storytelling. And this was just the tip of the lightsaber. There were also plenty of games, comics, and documentaries to keep us going. There's no signs of the franchise slowing from anywhere other than hyperdrive going into 2023. So let's take a look at what to expect from Star Wars in 2023.
The rogue clones on the run from the Empire, huh?
First off, let's dip into a series that's already been started to be released on Disney+, and that's the return of Clone Force 99, aka The Bad Batch. This animated series, a spin-off from Clone Wars, has been described as catnip from Star Wars fans, and so it proved with the first season when it premiered in 2021. With this tabby well and truly bedded in for the foreseeable, we'll be seeing episode drops throughout the start of the year as we join our favorite genetically mutated clone troopers on their latest missions. One of the first highlights of the year that a lot of fans will be looking forward to is The Mandalorian Season 3. It's hard to think that this was Disney Plus's first live-action show, considering everything else on the platform, but believe it or not, it's the OG when it comes to the streaming giant. With a release date of March 1st, we don't have too long to wait before the return of the intergalactic bounty hunter. Lead actor Pedro Pascal has described Mando as the Clint Eastwood character in the past, but the only ones who are feeling lucky here are those watching, as both seasons of the show have gone down very well with fans and critics alike. But what does 2023 bring for djarin? From the massive trailer release, it looks like we're to expect potential redemption seeking, spacefaring, and of course a healthy dose of Baby Yoda. But it definitely looks like we'll be seeing Amy Sedaris' Peli Motto, Carl Weathers' Greef Karga, and Babu Frick. We know that we'll be picking up after the back half of the Book of Boba Fett, and we're unlikely to want to put the story down if the last 2 seasons of The Mandalorian are anything to go by. Based on what we saw at the end of the Book of Boba Fett, then it's likely we're going to see an adventure redemption story with Mando attempting to make good with his people, and this will likely feature his new ship as well as Grogu, studying the ways of the Force in tow.
Most wanted.
The only game set for release this year is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Expect to see this in stores March 17th. It picks up 5 years after the events of 2019's Fallen Order and features the return of Cal Kestis as the survivor of Order 66. It is reported to feature exciting new Force abilities and lightsaber fighting styles to keep us all entertained in the minutes between live-action releases this year. It is reported to feature exciting new Force abilities and lightsaber fighting styles to keep us all entertained in the minutes between live-action releases this year. Also, the story will see Cal tested to see just how far he'll go to protect the ones that are closest to him. And if all of that isn't enough, the 5-year gap between the 2 games is filled better than an intergalactic sandwich with a novel called Jedi Battle Scars, where Kestis forms a bond with the crew of Stinger Mantis. This is also due for release in March of this year. Back to the likes of smaller members of the Star Wars world, next up we have something for the younger fans amongst us, Young Jedi Adventures. This is an animated series that will see its premiere on Disney Plus as well as the Disney Junior channel in the spring. As the eagle-eyed amongst you may have gathered from the mention of the Disney Junior channel, this show isn't going to be filled with lightsaber decapitations. Instead, it will follow a group of younglings in the High Republic era as they take on various missions, helping those in need, discovering exciting species, clashing with villains, training with their Jedi Masters, and most importantly, learning a lesson at the end of it, just in case any parents out there were concerned that it was just fun. It stars Jamal Avery Jr. as Kai Brightstar, a Jedi youngling trying to emulate his inspiration, the great Master Yoda, and become a Jedi Knight. It also features Emma Berman as Nash Durango, a friend of Kai that's by his side during their daring adventures. The show might not exactly be canon, but promises to be a great addition for really young kids to get their Star Wars fix nice and early. Also, in spring of this year, we'll be looking forward to the second installment of Star Wars Visions, with Volume 2 due to release not that far away. The first season saw an anime-focused take on the Star Wars universe with an anthology of animated stories. It was another critically well-received addition to the Star Wars cavalcade of offerings of the past couple of years, and this season promises more gems. What we know so far is that the production of this group of episodes is going to be a lot more diverse, with animation studios from all over the world having a crack at their own self-contained stories. Animators from Chile, France, South Africa, the UK, as well as Japan, are thought to be contributing to this year's offerings, which will give fans a wide range of styles to feast their insatiable eyes upon. The first season drew upon the talents of Japan's most acclaimed anime production houses: Kamikaze Duga, Studio Colorido, Geno Studio, Studio Trigger, Cinema Citrus, Production IG, and Science Saru. They produced the 9 episodes that made up season 1, but it's not yet clear how many episodes we'll see this time around. Details of what to expect in these stories are about as scarce as the appetite to revisit the Phantom Menace, but what do we know so far is that there may be some revisiting of the plots seen in season 1 of Visions, and also the creators have said that they might expand this non-timeline iteration of Star Wars so that in the future they may inspire canonical storylines. Whatever comes out of the project this year is exciting prospect and another great addition for this year's release schedule.
Right.
You've taught him well.
It's more like he's remembering than I'm actually teaching him anything.
There's no official release date for the next offering on our list, Star Wars Ahsoka, but it's due at some point this year and there's a lot of exciting news. This live-action spin-off from The Mandalorian will feature Rosario Dawson reprising her popular role as Ahsoka Tano. So far we know that it's said to revolve mainly around her quest to find Grand Admiral Thrawn, as the cheesy folks at Lucasfilm teased this during The Mandalorian. Hayden Christensen is back again reprising his role of Anakin Skywalker as seen in Obi-Wan Kenobi. What capacity we're not sure, but possibly as a Force ghost or some sort of flashback from Ahsoka's past life. Regardless, we're sure Christensen's accountant won't be complaining. Sabine Wren, Ahsoka's Mandalorian comrade, and another TBC villain are set to make their own appearances as well. Mandalorian producer Dave Filoni wrote this series, and as of April of 2022, the show has been in the making. Keep your eyes peeled for the official release date of Ahsoka. Another series making its debut this year without an official release date is Skeleton Crew. Director of Spider-Man No Way Home, John Watts, has made the switch from Spidey senses to the Force as he's behind the project. Skeleton Crew is what you get if you put Stranger Things, The Goonies, and Star Wars into a fusion generator. It's going to be a coming-of-age story, but on a galactic scale. The backdrop of the series is going to be similar to the Mandalorian time frame, taking place during the post-Return of the Jedi reconstruction that follows the fall of the Empire. Although the show is based around the adventures of kids like Stranger Things or It, although I think comparisons stop there, don't be thinking you'll be seeing a demonic clown in space. This is very much for adults. It's going to be interesting to see how the producers pull off the ambitious series, but it has the potential to be a great addition to the other live action offerings this year. Other shows that may have a 2023 release date, but more likely will drop into the next year are Andor Season 2 and The Acolyte.
How long we hang on, how far we get, how many of us make it out, all of that is now up to us.
Our favorite Rebel spy left us wanting more at the end of 2022 when Andor Season 1 ended, and filming for Season 2 only started in November, so we might have to wait for this one to drop. The Acolyte may have a better chance of making it onto our screens towards the end of this year. This will be the first live-action series taking place during the High Republic era, and its cast gives us plenty of reasons to be cheerful. It's set to feature Amanda Stenberg, Daphne Keane, Carrie-Anne Moss, Mary Jacinto, Lee Jong-jae, and many more. Like Andor Season 2, production starts in November, so it might be a stretch to get this one out in time for this year, but our fingers remain crossed. So those are the highlights for this year for everything Star Wars. There are plenty of other things going on in 2023 and beyond, but I think all of these releases will keep us occupied for a while. If you'd like to dive into the universe yourself, a Saber Theory lightsaber is the best way to become a Jedi or a Sith. Visit our site and find your perfect saber.